You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey here with a look at some NFL draft risers and fallers this year for the 2022 NFL draft. We'll start positive, right? Go with maybe the biggest riser of them all. Quarterback Kenny Pickett. Duh. Right? Like, that's not really a huge surprise in the end. Pickett went from being maybe ends up being a day 3 guy to blowing every expectation out of the water. The Pickett we saw this year in his 5th year at Pitt, huge upgrade. Now, Pickett, play style-wise, strengths, weaknesses-wise, has a little bit of some mini Joe Burrow, not as good as Joe Burrow, to make that clear. Entering this season, in his 4 years, Kenny Pickett has had 39 touchdown passes in his career. This year, he had 42. 42 touchdown passes. That's impressive production. Now, Pickett's got some, I think, high-end measurable type of stuff that is a potential issue from that standpoint. But what he is able to do is wildly impressive right now. So I'm a big Kenny Pickett fan in terms of the big step forward he took this year. I don't love this quarterback draft class overall. See what he does. See if he ends up being QB1. He has a real chance to be. So I want you guys to make your predictions for me right now in the comments. Will Kenny Pickett out of Pitt be QB1 in this year's class? Y for yes or N for no? We'll go offense to defense here, of course. Kenneth Walker III, Wake to Michigan State transfer. Wasn't really on my radar. Don't think on very many other radars here as well. At Wake, Michigan State, though, big time blow up here. 500 more yards in 1 year for the Spartans than he had in 2 years at Wake Forest. Now, the on-the-ground production, very impressive. 6.2 yards per carry on a massive volume. A lot of touchdowns. That's impressive. The receiving game, 13 catches this year, 19 total. That's an issue. That makes things a little bit tricky from the evaluation value standpoint. But he went from being a maybe day 3 pick to, I think he ends up going some point probably early on day 2. I got more names to get to, but I want you guys to let me know who you believe is the biggest NFL draft riser from this year in college football. Let me know what you guys have to say right now in the comments section. Jameson Williams, next up here. This is my answer, by the way. Ohio State transfer to Alabama. People go, why you went from OSU to Alabama? That's kind of weird. I don't know if that's not the right move. Boom. Blow up in a great way. Exploded on the scene this year. Alabama, another first-round pick coming up at wide receiver. He is a home run threat. Big play machine, by the way. 21.3 yards per catch. Explosive, dynamic, and dangerous. I love Williams. I was on him in October as a round 1 guy. Everyone caught up now. I'm a huge fan of him. 2 receivers on this list because there's so many that could count as risers, right? Jahan Dotson went from being, I think, maybe top 50, top 60, maybe guy to he's a lock, I think, for top 40 unless some team is stupid. Had some drops, 2019, 2020, only 2 this year, kind of dialed that in. He makes the Penn State offense look a lot better than what it actually is because I don't think Sean Clifford from my high school alma mater is all that great. 91 grabs here, so not nearly the same average as Williams, but it was a different role for that team, of course. 12 touchdowns as well. He's a damn good football player. To the offensive line. Now, Charles Cross makes this list, even though many out there had him pegged as a potential first-round pick. But that first-round pick inclusion was based on a step forward this year. And he took a massive leap from being a potentially good draft pick, potentially good prospect, to being the guy people thought he could be. He is that guy now. I think he should go in the top 15 picks. I think a potential franchise left tackle, 2 sacks, 14 hurries this year from Mississippi State at that left tackle spot. Now, BetUS, my friends, will have plenty of draft prop bets. They have right now the first overall pick one out there. The favorite, we'll get to that one here in just a little bit. But you can get a 125% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code NFL Daily, put down at least $100 to get that deposit bonus. Next up is Ika Mekwonu at NC State. I love him. Now, others around the NFL, like Mel Kiper, aren't as high on him as I am. I think he's an awesome football player. Awesome at left tackle this year. Now, he is better as a run blocker than as a pass protector. And some I'm going to play him at guard, but he allowed 3 sacks, 10 hurries at left tackle. That's pretty good production. I'm a fan. I think he should go in round 1, top 15. If you're looking for an offensive lineman, if you're a team like the Giants, you're a team like a lot of those teams in the top 10, if we're being honest, take a guy like Ekwonu and plug him in somewhere on your offensive line. Now, if you want more NFL draft videos, you guys have come to the right spot. Hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any of the awesome draft videos we have for you guys right here at Chat Sports. Not one, but 2 Michigan edge rushers here on this list, the big-time risers. Aidan Hutchinson went from being probably a first-round pick to he might go number 1 overall. That pressure rate, by the way, 18.40%. It is higher than Chase Young at his final year for OSU. That's good, guys. David Ojabo went from being not really on anybody's radar to, I think, being a first-round pick, maybe even top 15. He had a fantastic year, by the way, for Michigan as well. That duo is wildly impressive off the edge. Hutchinson is the current betting favorite, by the way, on BetUS to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Will he be that top selection? Will it be Kayvon Thibodeau or a quarterback, maybe? Let me know. 1 for yes, he goes number 1 overall. 2 for no, he slides down at least 1 spot. All right, more risers. Linebacker Devin Lloyd. If you are an off-ball linebacker, like Devin Lloyd is, you must have value on third downs. Whether you're a great coverage guy like Fred Warner or a great blitzer from the off-ball linebacker spot like Devin White, you got to do one of those things, or else I have no use for you. Devin Lloyd can do both of those things. 4 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, 7 sacks, 22 tackles for loss. Unreal production against Pac-12 competition. If you want an off-ball linebacker, this is my guy. I think he's a top 20 lock at this point. The more under-the-radar off-ball linebacker is Chad Muma, who was everywhere for Wyoming, just constantly making plays. Wildly impressive against the run, plus special teams value, and showed growth, by the way, in pass coverage. Now, this isn't fair. It's a bad way to eval players, but NFL teams do it all the time. Former Wyoming linebacker Logan Wilson was balling out before he got hurt for the Bengals. I think that is a good thing for Muma. 142 tackles this year for the Wyoming linebacker, 8 for loss. Not as good as Devin Lloyd, but a good football player nonetheless. Not really on many teams' radars. He should be now. Do you want more NFL draft videos? I do. I want to do more, but I need your support. Type in me in the comments section if you guys want in and want more NFL draft videos. One more riser. We got to talk fallers. Sorry. Roger McCreary, one of several corners I could have gone with here. McCreary has been really good for Auburn. Now, last year, allowed some yards, allowed way too many touchdowns. This year, This is good, guys. Barely 45% completion rate. A little high on the yards, but not terribly high, given he got targeted a decent amount. 14 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. I thought he was awesome against Alabama. That is a big deal for NFL teams. He stepped up against some pretty damn good competition. So I'm a big fan of Roger McCreary. Wasn't too sure how I thought he would end up being or doing entering this year. I was too low on him. I think he's going to be a first-round pick. Before we get to the fallers, I want you guys to be a hater. Who is the biggest NFL draft faller this year? I feel like being nice. Only going to drop 4 names, but you guys can name as many as you want in the comments. Look, this list could be endless. Same with the risers. Like you could have put, someone mentioned in the comments on the live, the Bailey Zappi, a great name for a riser. But there's no bigger faller than Spencer Rattler. From number 1 pick to transferring. Yeah, no-brainer, right? I'm a big Jahleel Billingsley talent believer. He was in Nick Saban's doghouse. That is not a good thing for an NFL prospect. Mike Jones was hyped as a breakout candidate from Clemson LSU transfer. He wasn't that great this year. Sevyn Banks, who had some maybe first-round buzz, he was bad. He's like Sean Wade bad this year for OSU. So that is some of the NFL draft fallers from this year. But I didn't want to go too long. I wanted to be a little bit nicer on this video. There'll be plenty of time to be mean as the NFL draft approaches.